Hello everyone, welcome to Biology in Minutes. Today we'll be talking about the cell. Now in order to understand the cell, we have to first look at the microscope. The discovery of the microscope allowed scientists to see the cell, which basically means that the invention of the microscope had a big effect on the understanding of the cell. There are two types of microscopes. The first one is the light microscope. The light microscope was the first microscope invented. Visible light is passed through the specimen, and it's smaller and more easy to use. The light microscope is typically found in school classrooms. The next type of microscope is the electron microscope. This microscope was invented later on after the invention of the light microscope. It uses beams of electrons instead of visible light, and it is much larger than the light microscope. It's usually found in really professional labs. Next, we're going to be talking about the two types of cells, prokaryotes and eukaryotes. Prokaryotes are smaller and more simplified. They contain ribosomes, and they do not have membrane-bound organelles. They have DNA in a region called the nucleoli. Examples are bacteria. Eukaryotes are larger and more complex. Just like the prokaryotes, they also contain ribosomes. They have membrane-bound organelles like the mitochondria and the nucleus, and they have DNA in a region called the nucleus. Examples are plants and animals. Now let's look at the parts of a eukaryotic cell. A eukaryotic cell contains many organelles. The first type of organelle is the nucleus. It is located in the middle of the cell and is usually the largest. It contains genetic instructions, which is DNA. It directs protein synthesis, and it has a nuclear envelope surrounding it. Next up is the nucleolus. The nucleolus is the red dot inside the nucleus, and it is where the ribosomes are made. The next organelle is ribosomes. The main job of a ribosome is to direct protein synthesis. It is made from the nucleolus. The next organelle is the endoplasmic reticulum, or the ER. The ER makes proteins and lipids. It processes drugs and alcohol. It stores calcium ions, and it makes membranes. It acts as a transportation inside the cell. The next organelle is the Golgi apparatus. The Golgi apparatus modifies proteins from the ER. In other words, after the ER finishes making the proteins, it gets shipped to the Golgi apparatus where it modifies it, and it acts as a processing station. Next up are lysosomes. Lysosomes are membrane filled with digestive enzymes. They digest food molecules and break down damaged organelles. Next up is the mitochondria. It is the site of cellular respiration, which produces ATP. It is enclosed by two membranes and is known as the powerhouse of the cell. Next up is the chloroplast. Chloroplasts are only found in plant cells. They are the site of photosynthesis, which produces glucose from sunlight. The cell wall is another organelle that is only found in plant cells. It is made from cellulose, which is a strong polysaccharide. That's it for all the organelles. Now let's move on to something called the cytoskeleton. The cytoskeleton is a network of protein fibers that extend through the cell. They help support the cell and keep the cell in place. There are three types of cytoskeletons: microtubules, microfilaments, and intermediate filaments. Microtubules grow out from centrosomes. They shape and support the cell, and they also help move organelles around the cell. Intermediate filaments reinforce cell shape. Microfilaments are made up of actin filaments, and their main role is to help cell movement. Thank you for watching today's video. Be sure to give this video a like, and before you leave, make sure to subscribe.